I feel my heart go deeper, my love go deeper into my heart, into my God, into my truth. It's like every time we pray, we get off our position, it's like we just get back into the wellspring of love that we come from. It's beautiful. Every time we shift from the chaos and the confusion of the world and decide to offer prayer instead, everything shifts and changes. And then, like the Buddha said, our thoughts and our words and our deeds infuse the world that we see, our bodies, the physical light, the physical life that we have. We make a tremendous difference. It's not that we don't make a difference. We're always making a difference. But what's the quality of the difference we want to make? And how do we want to connect to who we really are? When we pray, we connect with something much greater than ourselves. And it makes a huge effect on the world. It changes everything. Rearranges everything all the time. We have been using, for the last several weeks, and I'm sorry, I know some of you are going to be very sad to see this for the last time. The four horsemen of the apocalypse are going to have one more part with it, one more little ride on the old horsey. Some of you will be very grateful that I'm putting it away for at least 10 years. When I bring it back out again, you'll go, oh, boy, that's a brand new talk. I never heard it before. Really? And we've been talking about the apocalypse, which literally means revelation. It also means end times. A whole bunch of people are talking about that from many pulpits right here and right now. We're bringing a very different version of what that story is really all about. Apocalypse, again, means to lift the veil, so that which is hidden inside of all of us from the wellspring of love can reveal itself through our thoughts, our words, our deeds, and our habit pattern. And we said that the first horse that we all deal with is the physical horse. It's the green horse. It's our bodies. And no matter what shape your body is in, whether it's in the beginning, the middle, or the end, whether it's healthy or sick, and no one here, by the way, knows when their Earth visa is going to be pulled. It always seems to surprise us. But the truth is, we don't know. We can use the body as an anchor for awakening. In fact, we're meant to do that. Then we talked about the heart, the anahata chakra, the red horse, and dealing with our feelings. That what we don't feel, we can't heal. So how do we deal with our feelings and open up our hearts so we can be a greater vessel for prayerful thoughts in the world and make a difference and a change in ourselves and others? And then we went to the mind, the thinking mind, the mind that's always thinking thoughts all the time. Like the fluids are secreted in the body, so the brain secretes thoughts. But we also said that we're much more than just our thoughts, Jen, right? We are space between our thoughts. And we can spend some time hanging out with that as well, too. I used the example of my kitty, Moku, in dealing with thoughts when I'd sit and meditate. When Moku would be inside, she'd want to be outside. And when she was outside, she'd want to be inside. And our minds and our thoughts are a lot like that. I'm here, no, I want to be there. I'm with him, no, I want to be with her. I have this group, no, I want that group. You know what I'm saying? We're always looking for something else. Our thoughts are like that, sometimes opposed to each other. And so we said the thing to do is to open up the window and let thoughts come and let thoughts go. Don't fight them, don't chase them. Don't try to pile good thoughts on top of bad thoughts. Just be aware of your thinking and release yourself to the space in between your thoughts. And the next little bit I had was when I would sit and meditate, when I'd be at my house. I wouldn't sit very long, but I'd sit, or we could sit for an hour, I could stop talking, and we could really have a good Sunday. And then there'd be moments when I'd feel a sense of calm coming over me. And then all of a sudden, only like a kitty cat could do, Moku, who represents my thoughts who want to get in and get out, every so often, she'd just, like a cat does, she'd go growing up like this. Then she'd pop in my lap and go. You know that feeling? When your thoughts are purring? My feelings are purring. I'm not being driven by strong this or that. I'm just feeling good, baby, in the moment. When my body is purring. You're not being driven by what do I have to do next. That's the great gift of these teachings and their practices. They allow us those incredible moments. And so now we go, when we move towards the last horse. What is this talk called? last horse first, or first horse last, or I forgot what I was talking about there. And we actually, Maureen and I, when we redid the order of this, because we thought it fit better, we really realized that this first horse, the white horse, actually belongs here. And so it says, when the Lamb opened up one of 7 seals, 7 chakras, one of 4 animals, saying in a loud voice as if thunder, said, "Come and see." And I looked and I beheld a white horse. And he who sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. The ego, the white horse. This is ego consciousness. It is, of course, the first horse. It comes right out of the wellspring of love, and it declares itself to be everything. It's your ego consciousness. It is the first thing we enter into. It is the tiny infinitesimal ripple deciding it's the whole ocean. It's the faintest sunbeam saying, "I am the sun." It sets up residence first in our consciousness. It's ego consciousness. It has a great sense of being itself, and it's meant to be. It has to be. It's when I am that I am became me, myself, and I. Richard. It's all about Richard. I don't see any of you as you are. I see you as I am. It's about me. The filter through which I see is about me. And I know that that's true. And this particular horse needs to be ridden with firmness, compassion, and kindness, just like our physical body is, our emotional body, and our thinking body. It's the most subtle, though, because it sets up resonance very early in our incarnation, and it becomes what you think you are. And it becomes challenged by anything that it seems to be challenged by. It's the first one to set up residence in our own consciousness, and it must be loved and honored and embraced, but not to be fooled by it. Your ego can be a great friend or a tremendous enemy, depending upon what you choose to do with it and how you apply these teachings. All of us have to become friends with our own ego consciousness. I liken it unto a computer. And by the way, I'm not a computer expert, by the way, so when I give you this analogy, it's weak. But I have a Mac, so I don't need to be a perfect computer expert. My Mac does it for me. It smiles at me, it tells me when I need things. When something's broken, they send me a box and they send it right back the next day. I mean, the world should work as good as a Mac does. And you can tell how I feel about that. And it's like a computer. So here's your conscious mind. You're tapping things out, particularly when you're very young. You're writing down something that you hold very strongly or you want to file away. And then you push the save button, file, and call it something, and push save. And where does it go? It goes into the hard drive. That's where it gets saved, on the hard drive, right? All of us have a lot of stuff that we got saved on the hard drive, particularly when we were very young. A lot of that stuff got filed in there. And then we have, a little part on my computer where it says, most recently opened files. And I've got about 6 of them, okay, that I keep opening again and again and again. It's the story. It's my most recently opened file. And from that, I then experience and see my life by those most recently opened files. And my iTunes, they call it my favorite 25 top tunes. And play it for me over and over and over again. You all have that. You know that you do. And so here it is. It's filed in the hard drive. It got put there first when you were very young, so ego believes it is what you are. It says, be very careful. Watch out for me. Put the crown of glory on the top of my head, and I will lead you to conquer, to be conquered, and to consume and be consumed. I'll help you find that thing that's missing in you. I will. It's just down the corner. It's the next house, it's the next man, it's the next paycheck, it's the next insurance policy, it's the next class I take, of course mine. But there's always something in the future. Ego says, we're almost there, you're almost complete. Follow me, the ego says. And most of us, unless we have teachings, we don't think we have any other choice but to keep following it over and over and over again. And we do, all of us do this. The ego is very, 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 very powerful. And it'll join you with whatever journey you're on. I remember, walking into the spiritual stuff. I see people come in for the first time, they were all here in the beginning. Oh, this truth is wonderful. I love the truth. Well, look at all these beautiful women These handsome men, everybody hugs and gives eye contact. Prosperity. Well, I can have prosperity, I can have money, I can have great relationships. The ego says, hey, this is for me. But as soon as you go deeper and begin to challenge that thing in you that's constantly looking for something else or someone else, the ego says, whoa, wait a minute. It sends out the killer bees. Yeah? Stay away, stay away, stay away from this thought system. Because the ego wants you to believe that that's all that you are. And literally the brain becomes wired to believe that that's true. Scientists tell us, this is a pretty interesting statistic, that we are only using 3% of our brains. The other 97% is waiting for some new information. There's a whole lot of other files that are willing to be opened. And when you make the choice to engage the file of love and kindness and compassion and letting go and letting God and surrender and trust and standing in your power, then those become the most recent open files and it becomes the filter through which you then see and experience and attract your life to you. The other part of your brain opens up and you begin to see what you haven't seen. You begin to own your power. You begin to stand in the doorway of all that is, I am that I am. And then when you speak your word, your heart goes deeper, your soul goes deeper. And then the change you wish to see absolutely has already happened. You're just catching up to what's already been given. Again, it's a cunning, wonderful ally in awakening or remaining asleep. It always has a storyline and it's always telling you. And when you get to challenge it and say, wait, no, I know this is just a relative truth, but it's certainly not the absolute truth of being, it becomes frightened by that, especially if you get close to the things you fear most, which always come to pass because they're unowned and unconscious. When we first got to Squim, Port Angeles, for my first ministry as a minister back in 1981, good Lord, 30 years old at our first church, we were poor, never broke, but we were poor at that time financially. And we literally lived in the back of the church with our 3 kids, on mats in the back. The old hippie stuff always comes in handy, you know. Blow up some mats and I'm home, hey, particularly in 30, it was fearless. We didn't plan everything out back in those days. It's like, let's go to Port Angeles. Yeah, you remember how daring we used to be? You know, everything now has to be so thought out. You got to have this and that all lined up. We just went. We lived in the back. And so the kids were at a friend's house, somebody at my board, and they had a Welsh pony in the backyard that this woman was selling. We didn't have a house now yet. Did not own a house. And the kids said, oh, Daddy, please. I'll take care of the horse. I'll ride the horse every day. That's a trap, Brad. Be careful. You know this one now. Don't ever listen to that because that is not true. That's coming from me, myself, and I. I ended up 6 months later with Maureen doing what? Riding a horse I don't like to ride, cleaning up poop, well, you know, that's part of life, but you know, there I was taking care of this little Welsh pony. And they're very strong. They're 12 and a half hands high, but they're powerful. The nomads ride them up and down the hills, real big guys. So this horse was manageable, even for me, who is frightened of horses. You all know that story already. And so I would get on Zinger, and Zinger had a little habit. The first thing in the morning, when you get on him, he'd buck you. And the first time I got on him, he bucked me right into a pile of mud. I got on him and I went, let's go, Zinger, and he went, and I went flying into this pile of mud. Back then I had some energy going. I was 30. I was mad at this horse, you know. Horse, of course. And I spoke to the woman who owned the horse about this. He goes, let me tell you what you need to do.